Hey, thanks for joining me. There is probably not any one knife more well known to people all over the world than the Swiss Army knife. Victorinox, which is probably the largest maker, I'm sure the largest maker of these in the world, makes a huge variety of different configurations of these, from very simple even one blade knives to some that have a ridiculous number of tools on them. They are just very useful, a great thing to have in like an EDC pack or a get home bag or any kind of backpack or bag that you carry. A great just everyday carry pocket knife. Ubiquitous is probably one of the best words to describe these. They are just available everywhere. Any sporting goods store, from in Walmart to, any outdoor store, any hardware store. These things are just all over the world. So let's take a look at a couple of these that I have, and let's talk about the Swiss Army knife. They're just a great tool to have, very useful, and depending on the configuration you get, they can basically fit just about any circumstance. So let's take a look at the workbench here. We'll take a look at them and see what you think. Okay, well, let's take a look here. These are a couple of Swiss Army knives that I have and use, both fairly common versions. This is a smaller one here, is the Tinker. Just a very simple knife. It's got two blades. The longer blade is about 2.5 inches. The smaller blade is about 1.5. These things, by the way, from Victorinox, come just really sharp. This one, kind of interestingly, is probably sold by an outlet or a store in Switzerland. You see it says Orso Geneve on the blade. That when I looked up that store name, it's a store in Geneva, Switzerland. So somehow this one made it from Switzerland, which they all do, I guess, originally. But from a retail outlet in Switzerland, somehow made it to a thrift store in Oklahoma, where my wife picked it up. So the Tinker has the two knife blades. It has a bottle opener with a wire stripper. That's this little notch here. And the screwdriver, the larger screwdriver blade is on that bottle opener. The smaller one here has a can opener, and it's a little bit different design than you might see on some. You have to walk it forward as you open a can. Takes a little bit of practice to do. It's also got a small screwdriver blade. On the back side, it's got a Phillips screwdriver. Looks like about a number 2. And it has an awl. Now, interestingly, the larger one, which is a Adventurer, is much the same configuration. It does only have one blade. It's a 3.375 inch or 3 3/8 inch blade. This version is a locking knife. Now, this is an older one. This one was a gift that my brother gave me many years ago. The current version of the Adventurer is a liner lock, and it has a liner lock on the large blade and I think the bottle opener, which seems a little odd, but it's the middle separator that they used to do the liner lock. Same kind of thing though, bottle opener, large screwdriver, wire stripper, can opener, small screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and an awl. The difference though, the reason I left the other awl open, is that you notice that this one has a hole in it, which is used for sewing. Both of these are both an awl and a reamer. They've got a sharp edge where if you punch a hole, you can actually twist and you can ream a hole bigger in something. This one though has the hole where you can actually put string or thread through it and push it through and pull back, make a loop, and actually, just like you would with a sewing awl, you can actually sew with one of these. Both of them have the traditional toothpick and tweezers that Victorinox puts on a lot of their knives. I'm not sure how I quite ended up with two of them with basically the same configuration, just one larger than the other. Like I said, this one my wife got at a thrift store. This one was a gift. Currently, Victorinox inlays their emblem. You notice this one was, it originally was silver, but that quickly wore off. The scales on both these are made of ABS, plastic. They have a key ring thing on them. And, you know, the Swiss Army knife is an idea that has been around for a long, long time. Our military, of course, the U.S. Army had their version of a multiple-use knife. It's got a can opener. They actually were nice enough to even label it can opener, as if you couldn't understand that by just looking at it. But no screwdriver. This has the bottle opener with a large screwdriver, and of course a single knife blade. And this one was made by Camillus in 1995. It's also got, again, the awl and reamer, but no sewing hole. So very similar configuration, no Phillips screwdriver, obviously. Of course, the military also had the TL-29. Now, this is the civilian version, so it's not actually marked TL-29, but it had, you know, a large knife blade as well as a locking screwdriver blade. It's a liner lock screwdriver blade that has a sharp edge for scraping enamel wire. At the time this was designed, a lot of wires were not necessarily insulated with plastic on the outside, but often had enamel coating over the wire, and so you had to scrape that enamel off, and so that's what this sharp edge is for. Anyway, multi-use knives for the military have been a pretty popular thing for a long time. At one time, Victorinox was not the only maker of Swiss Army knives in Switzerland. This one is an old Wenger, and again, I found this one used. It's had quite a bit of use. It's a little bit sloppy now just because of its age, but it's a different maker. I think Victorinox purchased or bought Wenger at one point or another. But this is, again, a very similar configuration, large blade, small blade. You notice the Wenger has more of a clip point blade on the small blade. The Wenger knives were thought by some to be, you know, every bit of good, and I guess some people even thought maybe superior to the Victorinox. Large screwdriver, bottle opener, wire stripper, can opener. That's more like the U.S. military style. Then it had a Phillips screwdriver, and it had the awl and reamer, but again, no sewing hole. And actually, this is just an awl. There's no sharp edge to it to ream with. So different configurations, slightly, although somewhat similar. But Victorinox makes these in a huge number of different configurations. If you've ever looked at these, you know some of them have scissors. Many of them have scissors, and quite effective, very useful. Some of them have saws, if they're like the hunter or the camper. Some of those versions have wood saws for cutting wood. They have a number of other doodads and features on them that you can, if you go to Victorinox.com, you can see all the different variations. It's a stunning number of combinations. And like I say, some of them have so many things on them, they're that wide and just have gobs of stuff on them. Almost kind of ridiculous, but there are people that actually collect Victorinox Swiss Army knives and like to buy all the different configurations they can get. But these are very useful knives. The steel is of decent quality. Victorinox does not say exactly what the formulation is. The name Victorinox, as I understand it, is a combination of Victoria, which I think was either the owner's daughter or someone related to the original owner of the knife company, and inox, which is the word for stainless steel, which means inoxidizable. So Victorinox is actually a combination of those, but the steel is of very good quality. It holds an edge very well, and in my use, it performs. I think it's probably very similar to, 8CR13 MOV or maybe the Krupp 4116 steels in that family. The 420HC that like Case and Buck uses. I think it kind of is in that performance range in terms of knife steel. And like I said, there's a lot of different configurations on these. Some, like these, this Tinker and this Adventurer, almost have more of a, you might think of this as more of a city use knife. The Phillips screwdriver, the flat blade screwdrivers, bottle opener, can opener. Some of the outdoor versions have things like the wood saw and some other features that are more outdoor oriented. There are a lot of variations. Like I said, this one is actually a store line knife, not made by Victorinox. There's a store called Horschow, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I think they're part of the Neiman Marcus family. And this was obviously some kind of promotional item. I guess the reason I didn't throw it away, if it was just a cheap Chinese one, I probably tossed it, but it actually says on the blade Inox and Solingen, so the steel actually is a German steel. So I thought, well, it's not probably terrible. It's certainly not the quality of knife as a Victorinox. But this is one of the reasons I say this is a very similar configuration to the Victorinox Wader, which was something that a server would carry. So it's got a knife blade, it's got a bottle opener, and in the case of this one, you might say there's a screwdriver there, but not really. But it's got a bottle opener, and it's got a corkscrew. And this corkscrew's got one heck of a spring on it. Anyway, so if you were a waiter in a nice restaurant, I think I'd get the real Victorinox. But, you know, having one of these would be a kind of a handy tool to have if you're a wait person. Like I said, there's a Victorinox for just about every circumstance or activity that you could find yourself in. Anyway, they're really just a great knife, a great gift knife. Like I say, this one was a gift from my brother, and they're very affordable. I'm going to put some links in the description down below for some of the various ones on Amazon. Obviously, I can't put them all on there, but I'll choose probably a half dozen or so and put links on so you can see some of those. You can also, you know, really go to any outdoor sporting goods, hardware store, department store, Walmart, just about anywhere that sells knives, you can probably find Victorinox Swiss Army Knives. So just a great knife to have, very useful, and a lot of the different tools and things that are on them are very useful. I don't have one now, but I've had more than one of these that had the scissors on them, and I have to say, when I've had these with scissors, I think I used the scissors more than I did the knife blade. Anyway, just a great tool to have. I think on Amazon this Tinker is like $22.50 roughly, and this Adventurer is around $31. They're not expensive knives. Really, they kind of fall in that inflation buster range, especially if you're looking for a gift for somebody. So, Victorinox Swiss Army Knives, they're really a great option to have, and they hold up well, they keep a good edge, and very useful tool. Well, there you go, the Swiss Army knife. Just a great tool, useful, available in a wide variety of configurations, very affordable for the most part, and all of that probably speaks to the popularity and the longevity of this line of knives. They're you know, probably something that most outdoorsmen at one time or another they use them or have one. Just a great knife, and like I say, a lot of different configurations, not just for the outdoorsman. Like the one that we looked at, that's a copy, that Horschow or whatever it is, it's a waiter's knife. They make all kinds of different configurations. There really is a Victorinox Swiss Army knife configuration for just about any activity that you are involved in. So anyway, thanks for watching the video today. I greatly appreciate it. If you would, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. That always helps the channel. There are links in the description down below for a variety of different Swiss Army knives that I just chose off Amazon. If you click on those and purchase them, I do make a little bit of money, and that helps buy other knives that I can show. So please take advantage of that if you would. And as always, thanks for watching.